Okay, so have you heard about this? Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
He's making a sequel to The Passion of the Christ,
Oh, wow.
and it's going to be about the resurrection.
That's going to be pretty
If
intense.
you know, that first movie was
Oh, yeah.
it was really something else.
It was
I mean, like just
yeah.
visually and
Very raw and powerful.
yeah, and he was on the Joe Rogan Experience
Mm-hmm.
talking about it, and like there's some really interesting
I bet.
stuff that he said, and so that's what this deep dive is about.
Okay.
We're gonna dive into.
Okay, so we're getting it right from the source.
Yeah, right from Mel Gibson's mouth.
That's cool.
So like right off the bat, one of the most interesting things to me was that he said they've been working on this script for like 6 or 7 years.
Really?
Yeah. So like they're not rushing it.
Wow.
It seems like he's really trying to,
Take their time?
yeah, get it right,
Yeah. Yeah.
do it justice.
I mean, that's a pretty heavy topic,
Yeah.
so I can imagine you want to get it right.
Yeah. And they're saying that they're going to start filming in like 2026.
Oh, wow.
So, you know,
So we have a little bit to wait.
yeah, we got some time.
Yeah.
But
That's exciting, though.
it is exciting.
Yeah.
I'm really curious, like, what do you think is going to be the most challenging part of telling this story? Like,
I mean, I think just,
because the Passion was about like the lead up to the crucifixion.
right, the suffering.
Yeah, the suffering of the crucifixion.
Yeah,
But how do you show the resurrection
that's right.
in a way that is
Yeah, how do you,
compelling?
yeah, because it's like
I mean,
the most important part.
yeah, and like how do you make it make sense?
Right, and how do you make it,
Yeah.
I mean, how do you make it believable for
Yeah.
people?
Right. And he was talking about how it's not going to be like a straight linear story.
Oh, really?
He said it's going to kind of jump around in time,
Interesting.
like to answer questions and like provide more context.
All right. So I don't know. What do you think about that as like a storytelling
I
device?
think risky.
Yeah, it's risky.
Especially with a story like this, you know?
Right, but when it's done well,
Yeah.
it can be so powerful.
Right.
You think about something like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that jumps all over the place.
Yeah.
Or like Memento,
Right.
where it's like going backwards and it
Yeah.
really keeps you engaged, you know?
I think so.
So it could be really cool.
I think it could be really cool. And I think it has the potential to like explore
Yeah.
like the meaning of the resurrection
Yeah.
in a way that's like
Right.
more than just,
With a straight
yeah, like the physical.
distraction.
Yeah, like, oh, he rose from the dead and that's it. You
All
know,
right.
Like,
Well,
what
what's
does
it mean?
What does it mean?
Meaning.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's really interesting.
So, there were some rumors about like filming locations.
They were saying like Morocco, Israel, Malta.
Wow.
Like, imagine that.
Yeah.
What do you think that could bring to the film?
I mean, each of those places has such incredible
Yeah.
visuals, but also just like the history.
Yeah.
You know, Morocco has,
The weight of it.
yeah, like
It is.
Morocco's got the deserts and the ancient cities. And, you know, you think about Israel,
Yeah.
you know, the Holy Land.
Yeah.
Like that is,
I mean,
that's where it happened potentially.
Right.
So that would be really powerful. And Malta has all these like
yeah.
catacombs and underground tunnels.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine like filming scenes about,
oh, yeah.
you know, death and resurrection
Right.
in a place like that?
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
It's like each location could represent like a different realm almost,
yeah.
like a different
It's-
plane of existence.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really ambitious.
Yeah. Well, and he said this isn't just about the 3 days after the resurrection.
That's right.
I mean, he said this is going to go all the way from the fall of angels to the death of the last apostle.
Yeah.
That's a huge
Yeah, it's massive.
span of time.
This isn't just your average like Sunday school
yeah.
version of the resurrection.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and he was talking about maybe doing it in the original languages,
Really?
like Aramaic and Latin, and
Wow, that would be.
which I think would be so powerful to
Yeah.
like hear
I mean, just the
the-
words.
the sound of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was saying how, like, some concepts
Yeah.
are really hard to translate.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting.
Well, and think about it. The Passion was in Aramaic,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
that really added to
Yeah.
the power of the film.
It really did.
Yeah.
So, one last thing before we wrap up.
Okay.
Jim Caviezel's coming back to play Jesus,
Oh, wow.
which I was like,
What? How are they going to do that? I mean, it's been 20 years.
I know, right?
It's gotta be.
Yeah, and he said they're going to use like CGI
Oh, really?
to de-age him,
Wow.
which, that first movie was all practical effects.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see.
how that plays out.
If it's got a different kind of feel to it.
Yeah. And one last thing, Gibson was talking about The Chosen.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that show?
I have, yeah.
It's so good.
It's a really cool show.
He was saying it's a really good way to like learn more about Jesus's life,
Yeah.
you know, kind of while we wait for the movie.
Yeah, it's a really interesting take. I
Yeah.
mean, they're focusing more on the relationships.
Yeah.
You know, with the apostles and
Right.
with the people around him.
Yeah, it's a really humanizing
Yeah.
portrayal.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I highly recommend that.
Yeah, me too.
So anyway, this movie sounds like it's going to be huge.
Yeah, it sounds really ambitious.
Yeah, it's going to be epic, spanning across like, you know, time and realms and,
Right.
you know, different planes of existence. And
It's a lot to take on.
yeah, and they've got Jim Caviezel coming back and potentially like, you know, mind-blowing
Yeah.
visual effects.
And it's going to get people talking.
Oh, yeah,
That's for sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll have to see how it turns out.
Well, and I think the big question is, how is this going to change how we understand the resurrection?
Right.
Like, how is that going to affect viewers?
Right. And how's your own perspective going to affect how you watch it? You know?
Exactly. It's going
Uh,
to be really interesting.
So yeah, there you have it.
All right.
The resurrection of Christ.
Can't wait.
We'll keep you posted.
Sounds good.